Story 1. My boyfriend went to dinner with another woman and pecked her on the cheek. Should I be upset? So my boyfriend told me he was having dinner with a friend, which I had no problem with. He owns a fairly large company, so he is always meeting people, having dinners, and networking. The next day, after the dinner, I asked him how it was. He said, it was good catching up with her. As soon as he said, her, I started asking questions. I never heard of her before and asked when and how they met. He said they had one date 3 years ago but nothing came of it. I asked him if they'd stayed in contact developing a friendship. He said yay, they've stayed friends on social media. This brought me to my next question. How did this dinner come up? And he said he messaged her asking her how she'd been. They exchanged the perfunctory catching questions and he mentioned how they had a good time last time and asked if she wanted to get dinner. He said he brought me up at dinner. I asked in which way. He said I asked how her dating life was going, what kind of guys she's into. She asked him how his dating life was going. He told her, it's going really well. I hadn't want to get married until this relationship. I wanted to address the elephant in the room. I asked you here just to see how you'd been. Then he went into how he and I met. I was annoyed but felt relieved that he told her about us. I don't think he's lying because I'm plastered all over his social media and he just posted a picture of us 3 days ago where he's kissing my forehead with the caption, I love you. So it's obvious I'm in the picture. I left it there and didn't care about him going to dinner with her anymore because it really did seem like they were catching up. Although I wasn't really bothered anymore, I was still just a tiny bit curious what she looked like, so I asked him to show me her Insta. He pulled her up and she is drop-dead model gorgeous. She looks just like Halle Berry except younger with beautiful curly hair. This ended up bothering me, so this led me to asking me more questions. I asked him if anything happened. He said no, the most they did was hug and he pecked her on the cheek when he got her an Uber home and was walking her to the car. I got pretty annoyed at this. Pecked on the cheek? So, I flat out asked him if he thought she was attractive. He paused and said, I mean, she's objectively attractive. And I asked him if she was attracted to him and he said, I don't know. Doubt it. She told me I was attractive but I didn't get the vibe she's attracted to me. We're friends. I asked when she told him he was attractive. She told him he was attractive when they had dinner the night before. I asked him how that even come up and he said it's because he was making fun of her height. She's short. And he said, 5'2" looks good on you though. You're very attractive, and she said oh you're attractive too. Obviously this made me pretty mad. I talked to my best friend. She said my boyfriend told her about me and he's not trying to keep me hidden, so I have nothing to worry about. She also said the peck on the cheek was just him being a gentleman and if he wanted to go further he would've. Basically, she said that it's understandable that I'm annoyed but I have nothing to worry about. What are your thoughts? Story 2. My boyfriend makes me want to seek out others. And it's not for physical reasons, but for purely emotional ones. I've been with my man for about a year and a half. He travels a lot for work, so we'll go 2 or 3 weeks without seeing each other. When he is allowed the option to stay in the city and work, he only likes to see each other once a week. If I haven't seen him in 2 or 3 weeks, I'll suggest that I spend the week with him, as I work from home. But usually on day 3 or 4 of that 7 days together, I start to notice him getting irritated or grumpy. He swears that it's due to being at home so much, but when it keeps happening, you kinda start to feel like it's you. When we spend prolonged amounts of time together, like a week, by the end of it, we have had an argument, because he has made me feel, in some way or form unwanted, and it just boils over. And he's already grumpy, so we argue. It never fails, the week together always ends in hurt feelings. My boyfriend is also not big on texting and he doesn't like talking on the phone too often. So when he's out of town, I probably get 2 to 3 short texts per day, maximum, and then maybe a 45 minutes to an hour phone call. Which usually occurs right around the time I'm free from work, so I'm excited to talk to him, whereas he's just dragging on the phone and then eventually just wants to get off. He says that he's tired and he wants to go to bed. It's around 7:30 at this time. So at this point in our relationship, because I'm having very minimal, or what I would consider to be minimal, contact with my boyfriend, I feel alone. I don't have conversation from the one I love, I don't have emotional warmth coming from anyone. I'll send him pictures, both clean and not, and I never get a response from him. Only when he comes home and we're being intimate, is when he'd mention the dirty ones. I just feel alone. I find myself talking to people that I shouldn't, because they 1. Talk to me. 2. Give me emotional validation. 3. Are always present. I can text them at any time, and they will respond. I don't do it too often, because it's playing with fire. But at times like tonight, when I haven't really spoken to anyone but coworkers and clients, I feel isolated and missing the warmth of some attention. My boyfriend is currently asleep, or so he says. We had a 20-minute phone call around 6:30, before he yawned and said he was going to bed. The only other communication we had today was a "good morning beautiful" text and a meme, which I had no response to. I haven't done anything, but I guess some would consider me just talking to someone I know has a romantic or sexual interest in me, is doing something. I love my boyfriend, but I don't know how healthy this is for me. I don't know if we're compatible, if this amount of communication and visiting is acceptable to him. Which he has expressed in the past, that seeing each other once a week was how he liked it. He even said that it was healthy. I don't know, I just feel alone. Thoughts? Story 3. Cheating for 8 weeks. I have been with my boyfriend for 8 years. Until December we were engaged, but I called it off due to an incident where he behaved very inappropriately. Not cheating related. I have agreed to let him try and show me he's not this person and that he can behave better and treat me with more thought and consideration. I also moved out of our joint home due to the incident in December. However, we went to a festival mid-July and he started behaving disrespectfully again. I stated I wanted to stay at gig for another hour or so. He point-blank refused, got rude and left me there all alone, drunk, and I had no way of getting home. The walk was a 5-mile walk down country lines whilst drunk and no taxi available. I messaged him to pick me up 2 hours later and explained I was getting hit on by other men. He sent a lot of verbal abuse to me and said he was done. I then got talking to someone, a man, and I explained my situation and we chatted until early hours of the morning before kissing and having the most amazing sex. This is completely out of character for me. We slept in his tent. Well, no sleeping involved, and he dropped me in his car to my car the next morning. Problem is, I've continued to see the man from the festival for the last 8 weeks. We get on really well and things are going brilliantly. However, I'm also still seeing my ex and letting him prove to me he's changed. I'm sleeping with both men but using protection, etc. Again, the problem is I still love my ex a lot and I feel like I'm keeping the other guy around until the ex messes up again and I can get more involved with man from festival. I have always been 100% faithful until now. None of them know I'm seeing the other. Your thoughts, please?